ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our One Piece manga review. We are here reviewing chapters 1127, Adventure in the Land of Mystery. I'm your host, Mr. Lyn and Versen, joined by your other host, Mr. Versen the Vassal. V-Man, how you doing this week, brother?
Doing all right, busy week, but fall's finally setting in, which is pretty nice.
Hell yeah. Also, we started our new form of content. Versen's going to be putting out live reactions when the chapter drops. We're trying out a full one where he reads, and then we're going to have like some shorts. So be sure to tune into that outside of the review, because we just want to give you as much One Piece content as possible. But with that being said, if you're new here, the way we do it is I do a brief summary of the chapter, and then Versen and I go in and discuss the entire chapter. We pick parts, theorize, and do the whole nine. But without further ado, let's jump into it. The cover story starts with Yamato eaten with a dog, aka Inarashi. So it seems like the former Mink Kings are now daimyos of Wano, which is dope. We then cut into seeing Elbaf, and we basically see some creatures have been taking down some of these huge bees. We see potentially the Yggdrasil tree, which is very interesting. It then cuts into seeing more Vikings. We then go into the Lego castle where Nami and Zeus took out a big creature. Nami's like, what the hell is going on? I shouldn't have been drunk. All these big ass monsters are coming at her. We see a big ass bear that spikes up as she runs away from it. Then there's this giant cat thing messing with Usopp. Nami then ends up saving Usopp. Usopp and Nami then get on the run as they're running away from this cat creature. They end up getting to this edge where they can't run anymore. The cat creature knocks Usopp's ass off the thing, breaks some of the Lego castles, and then Nami, the cat, and Usopp fall to the ground. The cat then transforms into this lion creature, where then the big three, the monster trio, comes in. A gear four punch, some dragon twister rope thing, and then some Ifrit Jombly action. They all triple team the monster, attack it, take it out. They then find out that those three were the ones who killed those bees and some of the monsters from earlier, all with new Viking garb. All right, Versen, where do you want to begin, brother?
I think it's a pretty front to back chapter. Although I would just say everyone's fit in this is pretty immaculate.
Yeah. Okay, so let's rank the fits right now, because I feel like that's pretty much I think the fits are like some of the dopest shits about the chapter. I'm thinking I don't like Zoro's mask. People are like hyping up the mask. I would say I'd go Sanji 1, Luffy 2, then Nami, then Zoro, then Usopp. Because I don't really the fan made drawings of Usopp and Elbaf kind of ruined. But I will say the fan made doesn't have the beard, and I gotta give it to Oda. Usopp's beard in this, if it was just the beard and not the clothes, he would be number one. But with the clothes, it's not as cool as, let's say, Sanji, Luffy's, and Nami's. I would say him and Zoro pretty even. From me, where do you go?
So let me just get this out the way. If we're counting Nami and not just the boys, she's number one for me. So Nami. Just like how once Robin comes in, they'll both be co-number one. But anyway, as for the dudes, I think I'll probably do Luffy first. I think
I like the crown, yeah.
Yeah, like the horns, and also the fact that his is kind of like loose. I don't hate it, but I think one of the worst things you do is give Luffy armor because he doesn't fight in a way at all that matters that he has armor. And I think that's kind of a little bit how it's going with Sanji for me a little bit. Like, I don't necessarily think he needed chainmail because he's not like bulky like that usually, but I don't hate it. I think it looks good. I just don't think it fits him. The cloak is good.
I love the cloak and the sword behind. Like, I think Sanji's looking drippy as hell.
Yeah, I just don't know if it matches him. Like, if we're gonna do if we're gonna do it, I see him more as like wearing plate because that's more of knightly stuff. And if anybody is in the monster trio is like a knight, it's like him.
But okay, can I count it with we're Vikings though? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I know. Like, it wouldn't be exactly the same, but I mean, neither is Nami wearing all that.
True.
I will say also one thing, you can't really see him on the last page, but Zoro's like boots are actually really, really good. I think I really like Zoro's. It might be one of the only times where I think I'll put Zoro over Sanji, except, like I said, I don't think the mask currently is the best fit. I think it looks better whenever we have the shot zoomed in on him than whenever it's not zoomed in. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like whenever it's just his face, it makes his entire head look kind of small, which is like not great. So
the
anyway,
mask is throwing me off of Zoro. Like, if he ain't
yeah.
have the I feel like Sanji's cloak and sword on his back outweigh the mask for me. And I guess I do. I will say this: I like his little boots. I like Sanji's little boots.
Yeah. But also like, yeah, I kind of like Usopp's fit. I do agree. Like, I guess when I first saw his fit and when I first saw Nami's fit, I didn't picture the Monster Trio as being like all armored out. But I don't know. I think his matches is a lot. I think his is the most likely one that's going to get a little bit of a change or an upgrade throughout the arc. So I think this is base level. So, I'm not fully holding it. So yeah, Nami first, and then I probably do Luffy, Usopp, and then Zoro and Sanji kind of tied. I think maskless Zoro would probably get above Sanji for me, but with the mask, it's not consistent yet. So I'll probably do Sanji and then Zoro. But I don't hate any of these fits. I think they're all nice.
Oh yeah, no, same. I do not hate the fits either. I had expectations for Usopp's. My man got the queen pants.
Yeah. But I mean, to be fair,
overalls.
that does seem to be his kind of like his style post time skip.
Sure,
like they always give him like, like the MC Hammers like all the time.
It's just man, that fan drawing that everybody knows of with him chilling with Mjolnir is so badass. The only thing I would say is if they took the beard Oda gave him, that would be intense. Because the beard is dope. I got to give Usopp credit.
I actually really like the beard. I think I said in my little like live reaction, the only thing I didn't like is the fact that because it's framed, the lips are even more prominent, and how I feel about those.
Yeah,
but
facts.
the beard is actually great. It's his fit that he's gotten where he wears the fake beard or whatever. That's the most good. And I will also point out, as we know, like a lot of this stuff is going to be changing because some of this is just hallucinogen. So like, they might not stay this way the whole time unless they are like green fairied the entire fucking time they're here.
True.
But like,
I think someone pointed Lego out, castle, crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like that's interesting to me because I feel like they have to use Legos because they're so big that if they would have made shit out of wood, shit keeps breaking. It's like, no. Let's use something that won't break. And if it does break, we can put it back together easily. I would love if the whole aesthetic of this is Legos, but I do understand if this is just Loki's castle, him being a trickster type situation.
Well, I think also a big part of it, like, this is a place that's made. I think this is probably just a place that's not made for giants because everything of relative scale for the Straw Hats seems relatively human scale, if not like slightly larger. A giant can't fit in the places that fucking like a giant
giant's
can't fit.
Toy house. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and I'm sure like this massive hedgehog that's massive like to like like Nami. It's probably more or less the size of a regular or slightly larger than average hedgehog to giants.
Fair.
Like this literally might just be like Loki's like petting zoo or whatever.
Could definitely be that. Could definitely.
And he just threw them in there too,
as their pets. Yeah, as his pets. Yeah.
But yeah, overall, like I know that we kind of like went all over the place, but yeah, we can take it from the top.
Yeah, I mean the chapter's pretty much cut and dry, but yeah. I will say I like seeing the giants in the beginning, which shows like, okay, it's not some weird shit going on. They're legit on Elbaf. We just have to figure out who's taking them. And it's interesting that the Yggdrasil, they were like, if the the flame spread to Yggdrasil and the country's done for, that makes me think we're gonna have big moments with the Yggdrasil tree. Something about the Yggdrasil tree will be very important.
Yeah, it's kind of like how we had Atomwood, like I'm thinking it's been along there for a long time that like Yggdrasil kind of is such a big tree that it's maybe grown up through one side of the world and maybe gone through down and up the other side of the world. Also, like they say we need to report this to the great sun god. Some people are kind of theorizing that maybe Elbaf has like a false god problem. I don't know if that's true. I think what they consider a god might just be different from what the rest of the world does.
True.
Because Norse mythology is a lot like that. Not unlike Shintoism, where Shintoism obviously has like guardian spirits and yokai, but Shinto also believes every individual thing has a spirit and can become important. And I think that's kind of the same thing with like a little bit of the Norse mythology, where it's like, calling something a god does not necessarily mean it has to be like capital G, strongest thing in the verse, God. It can just be an honored creature.
Also, the fact that even though they're calling Luffy that, he's a representation of what they consider.
I don't even think they're talking about Luffy there.
With the great sun.
I do think there might be another sun god.
Okay, I got you. I see what you're saying. Okay, that you're saying. Okay, so they have a false idea. Honestly, it could be this: they have a false representation of someone who is claiming to be the reincarnation of the sun god, and then now with Luffy being here, the actual person who has the Nika fruit. I can see Dorian Broggy being like, "See, we told you this guy was a false prophet type situation."
See, and I think if anything, this might be a arc where again, like we've been theorizing, we're gonna get a bunch of we've got Joy Boy from last chapter, from the last arc. This arc we might get more about Nika. I think by the end of it, we'll also finally get Luffy saying once and for all, understanding, but also being like, I get it. I'm not gonna make that joke anymore. I get it. But y'all need to understand, I'm Luffy. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Because I think that's something that people have been kind of worried about and haven't liked since the Gear 5 Nico revelation, which I do understand.
Is it that okay? So see, and I feel like this is at least our group of people who review this. We've never saw Luffy as that, and I never felt like it was a thing where he has to say. I feel like it's pretty cut and dry that Luffy doesn't acknowledge that he's that and doesn't give a fuck about that. Like, why do people need him to come out and say?
But I think I don't need Luffy to say it, but I do think it might be a case of he might need to tell the world or whatever about it, because Luffy's never had questions ever. That's the whole point. But other
that's
people,
what I'm saying.
Yeah, misinterpreting.
Fuck what they think. They think whatever they want. That's just how Luffy and them didn't come out and claim about what they said about him in Alabasta. Anytime anyone's ever made a belief about him, believe what you want. And then once you see me and you interact with me, you know who I am type situation.
Yeah, well, my whole point of getting to that, I guess, is because I think by the end of it, depending on what exactly this sun god is or what his relationship is or hers or whatever, I think Luffy might still leave them. I don't think it's going to be necessarily a liar reveal thing so much as Luffy being like, okay, yeah, if you want to go with the sun god, who gives a shit,
Oh, okay. See, okay. See, I don't. Okay, so with that part, I feel like Dorian Broggy and them are gonna cut that shit out.
But that's just it. I don't unless they have designs of trying to make Luffy hang out on Elbaf, which I don't. They love Luffy.
Oh no, they won't.
Pirate King. To the point where even a couple chapters ago, Luffy was like, and if anyone tries to get in my way and heave him at the giants, although friendly, I'll stomp you flat.
No, for sure. I agree with all of that. I feel it's more so of a Dorian Broggy are no, it's not a we keep Luffy here and worship him. It's a no, this guy's being a false prophet type situation. We're not gonna worship this at all. We're gonna have our original idea of the sun god. Not even Luffy. Let exclude Luffy out of this. We have our normal idea of what we pray to. That's what we're gonna pray to, and that's all. It shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't even be we worship Luffy. It's no, this guy just has a devil fruit of the power of our god.
If anything, it'd be when Luffy eventually goes Gear 5 in this arc, they'll be like, yeah, you see that? It's like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what our god was like, essentially.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it all kind of depends on how it's. I mean, obviously, we're getting this off of 2 words, so we'll see.
Yeah, true. It could go any type of way.
Because I will say, I don't think they can be that much of a tyrant. Because again, not to give Shanks too much flowers, if the Giants of Elbaf were listen, I'm just if anything, I'm helping you because what I'm saying is, if it was a whole big giant deal, I think Shanks would step in if he thought it was his place.
He belongs in the reviews going forward. He's gonna be right here.
Right. Next time that I come to your house, I'll put a nice big piece of cheese in there for him.
Oh my gosh, bro! He's not a rat. You and Pharaoh, y'all be clowning. I can't wait for the chapter where we find out he has a brother, but that's not the time now for that. But I'm trying to think some other things. Zeus being alive is very interesting to me, and does that mean that Big Mom's out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it could go either way because I mean, I don't know. He clearly doesn't have to be close to her, regardless of whatever.
At all. Yeah.
But I don't know. Did we ever establish that homies are satellites, or because I kind of thought they were tied in. I thought they were too. You know me, I don't believe Kaido or Big Mom are actually dead. I think they're pretty much done for their story. I don't think it really matters anymore. But I think they exploded somewhere and they're on an island with one coconut tree on it, and I think they're just fucking retired now.
And look, I always thought if she died, then all the homies would die. And you know, Totland, and I guess we should have had this conversation before because we saw Totland when the Blackbeard Pirates went there and everything was still kicking. So I don't know, man. It'll be interesting, but it's definitely giving more points to your theory of, oh no, they're still alive, they're just chilling.
Mm-hmm.
So we shall see about that. I'm trying to think of some other stuff. I did like in the chapter seeing Nami utilize Zeus in the climb attack. I feel like she's getting more control over that, and that's gonna be like her main thing.
We did have some good comedy in the chapter too, obviously. The whole thing with Nami and Usopp was a joy to read. The fact that she's like, somebody say me, I'll even take Usopp.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the hedgehog though, man. That thing's adorable, and then he got shocked for no reason.
Look, man, this felt like classic One Piece. We're getting it. Whereas when we went to Wano and we went to Totland, it felt like there was no exploration. Yeah,
Business.
it was like we're here to fight, like we're here to do what we got to do and leave. Whereas this, it's like okay, it's like how because even Dressrosa felt more like we're here for serious business. Like this felt like you could say Thriller Bark, Skypiea.
This is a Save the Kingdom arc, probably the last one too. Unless Raftail has inhabitants on it, and I don't know if it does, and two, even then I highly doubt it'll be like
it'll be strictly it'll be like Wano where we save the land, but it's strictly business.
Yeah. Yes, and you know, the Shot crew are thrown into Saray, they're doing weird stuff. I will make a special note. We still don't know where the fuck Chopper is.
Yeah, you said that in your live review, and that's something that I definitely want to bring up. Where the hell is he? And to your point about this being a petting zoo, Loki might have taken him as like a personal pet, or like one of Loki's kids might be their personal pet. Like Chopper may be in captivity right now.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I wonder how this will parallel like how Big Mom is doing her thing versus how Loki does his thing. It's very possible that even though the marriage didn't go through, Loki is a very mindset-wise a Big Mom type character, you know.
Very controlling. Also, I did like how the cat turned into a lion. I did like that. I thought that was dope.
Yeah, well, like, see, the cat turns into a lion. Usopp was wrong about it just being illusion, and that's why he got murdered.
Yeah,
Usopp's dead now. It is unfortunate.
It's not Egghead, brother. Not everything's an illusion anymore.
You know, but yeah, like that changes, and then also like, unless it's just a mistake, Luffy goes from having a sword to a giant axe. Like, this whole situation is very fluid, you know?
I didn't even realize that.
Like, yeah, how is that looking at the pommels?
How is that happening? Is this like some Loki magic situation? Very interesting.
Yeah, like it would be interesting if like Loki has like a very specific type of fruit or whatever, or something, or maybe, you know, because I know what's his name has Vasco Shot has the liquor fruit, you know, for pure alcohol. I wonder if it's possible if like not unlike how Monet had the snow fruit specifically, if there's someone who's literally just like, yeah, that's awesome, man. All I have is the hallucinogenic fruit, or all I have is the absinthe fruit.
He makes people hallucinate.
Yeah, and they're like, this kind of sucks because I can't even like, I can only make this one type of liquor. I can't even make like rum.
Could be like some magic-based fruit where his power allows him to use his magic on things, like a specific type of like basically what you're saying, but like hallucination magic or something like that, where his fruit gives him the power to change all things essentially.
And even then, we've seen in the One Piece world, some magic don't have devil fruit explanations.
True.
Like, hypnotism is just a magical power. We have two different characters who can do it.
And with Django
and Miss Golden Week. And also Nami, granted, it's a mirage that she used specifically. But, I mean, that's not too dissimilar either. Like, it could just be another step up from that.
I wouldn't be mad at having it now be... Because Loki, who we know him as in Norse mythology, he's this trickster. So I wouldn't be mad if he's like one of the few characters that has quote unquote actual magic in this story.
Yeah, especially like you said, like with Eam or whatever, we still don't completely
don't know.
That doesn't. There's no reason to assume Eam has a devil fruit.
Not at all.
That is some weird shit.
After what we saw, like at first I was saying that, but like no. It quickly went to what you and Jazz were saying about the demon circles, and with the death of Saturn, it's like, nah, that's not, no devil fruit's doing that type of shit. So he could just be, you know, a lesser form of magic.
Like if that, like, you know, and not to get attention about Eam, but the last thing I'll say is, like, if Eam were to have a devil fruit or whatever, it would be some, yet again, a third variant of like the homie / the brook fruit. / whatever. Which, to be fair, we have 1,000,001 fire fruits. I'm not saying we can't have more like soul type fruits, but I think it's more
version
likely
of that, if it is that,
I think it's more likely that it's either some weird, super powerful mythical zone, or it's just straight up, oh yeah, this freak is just
he's
straight
just
magic,
crazy,
or ancient science or something.
Like he is from a different time period. Like we can't comprehend what they were doing back when Eam and Joy Boy were around. Like, look, Joy Boy put hockey into a rope. Like, we haven't seen anybody do some shit like that. So maybe just the way that the world was back then is just different, and they had this form of alchemy magic situation.
Yeah, and then also the most ancient technology that I can think of besides for the giant, we also have up in Skypiea, we have the dials, which, by the way, real quick on Skypiea, I mentioned it in my little live reaction. The fact that they're calling all these random creatures gods makes me wonder if like the sky serpent that was in Skypiea, if that was at some point gifted by the giants. Maybe during the war, like whenever, or right before the war, whenever they were all kind of like in an alliance versus the
protect
government.
Yeah, like we're giving you this to protect your, like, this thing is strong. It's one of the strongest creatures we've had. Like
it'll protect you, your gold, and your poneglyph.
These humans can't get up there easily, and if they do, the serpent can protect you. I like that. That's a damn good theory. I like that a lot. So yeah, anything else you got really with this chapter? Because I mean, it's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, like anyone who read the chapter, there's not really a lot to expound on. I will say it is noted, I guess to me at least, it is a little bit of a shorter chapter, but I don't know. I liked it. I liked all the art. I liked everything about it. I don't know. I'm just glad we're in Elbaf. I hope we stay. If I'm being honest, I hope we stay with the. I was kind of surprised that we got all the core 5 of the East Blue 5 like together so quickly. But now that we have them, I hope we stay with these guys for a while. Not to say that I'm not worried about Chopper. I am. And I do care about what's happening with other Straw Hats, but I'm fine if we do just a core 5 thing for now.
They're okay with Dorian Broggy, bro. Like, it's not nothing's wrong.
They're fine.
Yeah,
and they're all strong in their own right, Jinbei, Frankie, and Robin, and maybe Chopper if he's still on the boat. Like, I'm confident enough with them that that's a good mix, along with all the giants, that they're fine.
I agree. Well, okay, go ahead.
Well, last thing is, I will give him credit. Like, I mean, obviously it didn't matter that much, but not to power scale it, but the cat did tank 3 hits from the monster trio, and I think is alive, just knocked out. Like,
is knocked out.
Yeah. So good for him, I guess.
Yeah, super cat.
That's a commander level random cat.
That's hilarious. All right, Versen, tell the people where they can follow you at on social media.
Yeah, you can follow me at Versen pretty much anywhere. You can follow me at Josh Truskler pretty much anywhere. Shout out to Manga Melee, we're about to drop the Dan review for the latest few episodes, so y'all check that out. We have Pete and Krista on it. So
shit, that's gonna be big.
Yeah.
And aren't me, you, and Jay doing the Orb review as well?
Yes, we are.
Okay, cool deal. Hell yeah, make sure y'all check that out. Follow Versen. Follow me at LMBWT, follow Bros Think at Bros Think. Be sure to check out all of our content. The latest Bros Think podcast will drop on Monday. If you haven't checked out Pharaoh and I's first review of Kingdom, the Sekio Rebellion arc, check that out. We're getting ready to do the next arc's review later this week, so be on the lookout for that. But until next time, y'all have a good one, and peace.